Hey guys, and welcome in today's episode where I want to see what's so special about this guy right here. This is the ASUS TUF F15 laptop, and I'm pretty sure that it's still a bestseller because it's still selling under 700 bucks. The reason why it's selling under 700 bucks, I think it's because, well, the specs on it aren't stellar or great in any way, shape or form, but you should still be able to get into that sweet spot of medium 1080p gaming. And if this is something that you want to get into while gaming in 2023, then definitely this is one way to go about it. I don't want to ramble too much in this video, I just want to get to the point. So we're going to open up this laptop right here, see exactly its design features, and then we're going to move on to more practical things like upgradability with this laptop and definitely how it handles games and maybe some high intensive workload tasks. Alright, so let's open up this guy right here, which is the ASUS TUF F15. I'll do this one-handed because surely why not. Yeah, nice packaging though. Let's see here, what's going on. Okay, let's get it out of the box here. I'm not suspecting we're gonna get too much in this box, so we do get some warranty and stuff. That's pretty much to be expected. Nothing here. There should be okay, there we go, a power cable. That's one thing. And of course the power brick. Yeah, that's what we get right here. Alright, so the power brick itself. This is a 150 watts power brick, so it's not too heavy in hand. Of course, it has the, Mickey Mouse plug style there. That's pretty standard. So this is the ASUS TUF F15 right here, and let's see exactly what this guy can offer you. Let's move on from the outside in, so to speak. So let's see the design overall. And overall, the design looks rather nice. It is plastic, don't get me wrong. So all the chassis of this laptop, it's made out of plastic. There is nothing else going on here but some plastic. So you will have, of course, some fingerprints on this guy right here. The venting is pretty okay, I would say. So looking at the holes here, of course, you get some, you see some fan going on in here. There are some fake vent holes, as you can see in the design. Some Umbrella Corporation there design as well. But anyway, you do get some vents here with this laptop, so that's pretty okay to see. These are some downwards firing speakers right here, so right here and right here, and they actually sound quite decent. More about this a bit later in the video. And you have some rubber feet like this one here, and of course here and here. So that's pretty good. So this guy won't be moving anywhere on the table when you sit it down. So it is quite sturdy. Those rubber feet are doing a decent job. Of course, the lid is also made out of plastic, ABS plastic here. This is the name of the theme with this TUF product for this price point. Oh, did you guys know I'm running a Discord server now? That's amazing. So don't miss your chance of running into me live and chatting with me and maybe just having me answer all sorts of random questions that you might have. See you guys on the Discord server as well. And don't forget to leave your thoughts and comments as always in each and every one of the videos, because I do my best to go through each and every one of them because you are awesome. Oh, and I forgot to mention about the subscribe. TUF branding right there and some LED status indicators right here. Yeah, you can't really open up this guy very easily one-handed. As you can see, it tends to, well, just, open up completely or lift up completely. When you open up the machine, finally, you are greeted with this display right here, which, don't get me wrong, it's quite an okay display, especially for this price point. First of all, it is a fast display, so as you can see here, 144 Hertz, adaptive sync, and this is actually a 1080p IPS display, which is actually quite good. Its overall length is 15.6 inches, and it does a pretty good job as what it is. The other very nice aspect of this laptop right here, it's definitely its keyboard. I've always been a fan of this ASUS keyboards, especially now I see this brand new design here with this space bar that, it is a bit on the strange side, but I definitely love that. And if you are, right-handed and you tend to use your space with the movement keys here, you are going to be pressing down on the space bar. So I think that's why you have this cutout here, because it makes it more accessible when using it in conjunction with the movement keys in games. So definitely this is a so-called gaming feature, or anyway, a gaming laptop with a keyboard that is more or less designed with gaming in mind. And not only that, but I've always been a fan of the fact that these keys feel rubberized when you touch them. They have a very shallow travel rate, which make them feel quite good, and they don't have a hard bump stop at the end, and they also bounce up quite well. And overall, I very much love the way this keyboard feels and looks anyway. And also, of course, you have Adobe RGB with this keyboard, so you can definitely light it up and see it in some dark lit environments, and that's very nice to see. Also, I was always a fan of this power button right here. That's also fairly nice, also rubberized, and feels very good to the touch. And for all of you guys out there, if you are like myself and you love your 10 keys, then you definitely get this with your keyboard. For everybody else that doesn't really love the 10 keys, this overall look can feel quite cramped because they don't have a 10 keyless design for this laptop. But anyway, overall, I would say this is a very nice addition, especially for the fact that, you know, the dimension of the laptop are going to be the same, so you're not going to be in any way, shape or form hindered when you are going to use your mouse because you have or you don't have the 10 keys over here. Another feature that I see here is, of course, the trackpad with this laptop. It isn't very big, but it does the job fine, and I see that more or less the manufacturers are moving back to these type of designs where you have the actual buttons for your right and left click of the mouse key right here. So you definitely get this. This trackpad isn't clicky in any way, shape or form, but it definitely does the job and it feels okay. It is plastic, none of that, you know, like glass surface or anything fancy like that, but it is a good trackpad, and I think it does the job just fine. Anyway, if you are going to be gaming on this laptop, you're not going to be using this very much other than the OS, as I would think, or maybe as I would see myself using this laptop. So you will probably gonna get a mouse to use in conjunction with your laptop, so you know, this is not a big deal. They always like to put the brands on stuff, so definitely you have here your, well, dual blade fan design, whatever. They're also bragging about the fact that you get a second SSD slot. It is going to be probably unpopulated in this machine that I have right here, but it is nice that you have the option to upgrade further down the line. And also it is Wi-Fi 6 certified, so that is a pretty nice, neat feature to see yourself, you know, future-proofing as much as possible, even for the price point. And you also get some noise cancellation. Of course, you're gonna get some Aura RGB control here, and other than that, of course, you get your RTX 2050, which is just a slightly beefier 1650. And of course, you are going to get your Core i5-11400H. This is a 2.7 gigahertz processor. And well, you know, it's certainly decent for this gaming laptop right here, and I would say you won't be having any sort of issues. They are doing a fine job of both providing enough performance for the laptop and overall feeling like a snappy laptop, especially for the price point. I'm not really sure about this guy right here, to be honest with you guys. The RTX 2050 feels a little bit, you know, under strength for 2023, especially for the fact that it's only running at 4 gigabytes GDDR6 memory. But we'll see. This puppy can go all the way up to 55 watts, and do keep in mind that we have a power brick right there, which gives us 150 watts total power for this guy right here. But more of that later in the video, where we are going to do some actual gaming on this laptop and see exactly how it's going to perform. So the I/O situation of this guy right here, well, you are going to get some USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A port. So this is this guy right here, and of course you are going to get some ventilation for those fans to kick out some of the heat when gaming. And of course this Kensington lock, which probably is going to be used only in showroom situations. Moving on to the other side here, this is the business side, and you have of course your power port right here. It is fairly nice to see that you get a full-size RJ45 LAN port right here. You get an HDMI 2.0 port right here, and two more USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports right here. And of course you get this really nice Thunderbolt 4 support right here, and that's very nice to see. They even brag about this right here. When you open up the laptop, they have this little sticker that they put on there just to show you that this guy is actually Thunderbolt 4 enabled right here, or supports Thunderbolt 4, and that's very nice to see. And of course you also get a nice headphone jack right there, so that you don't bother the people around you and you are going to spend some quality time with your games on this laptop. Moving on to the back I/O of this guy right here, you don't get to see too much, but I really like to see that there are actual cutouts for the ventilation of this guy. So I'm suspecting that this guy is going to be quite cool and do a decent job when gaming, because, well, you know, you have all this heat dissipation going on that can actually escape the laptop. I mean, if you compare this to the underside of the laptop where you have, you know, some very nice design, but it is nothing functional except for a few holes here and there, and I really hope to see that this is going to do a decent job. But basically it's supposed to draw in the air from the underside and basically blow it out on the sides and on the back. So more about this a bit later in the video, when we are actually going to do some testing when gaming and see exactly how the temperatures are in this guy right here. So this basically covers the outside design and feel of this ASUS TUF 15 right here, and overall for what it is at this price point, I feel fairly confident that this is quite an okay product. It has some flex to it, not that much, but there is some flex to it, of course. Let's check out some of the screen flex. Yes, it is made out of plastic, but you definitely get a very nice thumbs up for the actual keyboard layout and the feel and the way that this keyboard has been designed. And if it's really okay with the cooling system when gaming on this guy right here, then definitely I would say that you have absolutely no issues when running with this laptop. And the upgradability side also gives it a big thumbs up in my opinion, because you can get to basically upgrade your storage, and that's very nice. And I'm also fairly sure that with this design right here, you get to upgrade your RAM situation, and that's also a very nice thing to see. Upgradability is a huge factor, especially when you are probably going to start off with something in a more budget-friendly range like this guy right here, and definitely having that option out there on the table with easy accessibility for that in the long run, then definitely you are going to get more usable life out of this guy as is. Alright, this being said, I'm just going to install Windows on it because it comes with no OS pre-installed, especially on the version that I have right here. And once I've got everything set up, we can definitely fire up some games and see exactly what its performance is like, and definitely how it handles those temperatures. So before we jump into the performance side of things here, first of all, this CPU right here, this is the 11400H, a 2.7 gigahertz CPU, as you can see here. And we are running actually 8 gigabytes of memory. If the camera would focus, there we go, 8 gigabytes of memory. And we are actually running a 1 terabyte SSD in here. So yeah, these are just, it's an NVMe SSD, as you can see right there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And of course the RTX 2050. And as you can see, running games like Battlefield 5 immediately jumps all the way up to the maximum 8 gigabytes that we have available for it. So definitely 8 gigabytes is not enough in this day and age, but let's just open up Battlefield 5 here and see the actual performance and what we can set it at. Okay, so here we have running Battlefield 5. This is running at 1080p medium settings, and it is doing quite an actually a good job. We are just sitting around 50 FPS with dips here and there and spikes here and there, but the CPU is just hovering at around 80 to 90 C, which isn't stellar. But you know, the cooling solution does a good job. I mean, I do feel a lot of heat dissipating from this laptop on the sides, and definitely there's a lot of heat coming off the back as well. So that is definitely something. But you are doing a great job, little laptop. So even with the 2050 that's in here, that's only 4 gigabytes of RAM, and we are using around 3 gigabytes of it as it is right now. It is still doing a good job. I should get out of the line of fire here so that I can talk a bit more to you guys. Alright, so yeah, definitely as you can see, the CPU is quite toasty as it is. It is going all the way up to 3.7 gigahertz, which is very nice, and you do see quite a high usage out of the CPU for this given resolution, which is 60%. And if we go into the settings here, we can definitely check out what I had just said. So we are running at 1080p right here, as you can see. And we have all of the bells and whistles enabled. So we have DirectX 12 enabled, we have the ray tracing enabled, and definitely we've enabled the DLSS, as this should help things go smoother. And yeah, we have a frame limiter here, but we're not going to reach this frame limit. Definitely we're not going to reach the 144 hertz of the display, because we're only doing around 50 FPS as is in this game with this resolution. We are just using around 3 gigabytes of the video memory on the GPU side of things, so that's not very good, or I should say that's pretty much to its maximum. Since the resolution is 1080p for the screen, this is what you can get by default. I mean, you could go ahead and tweak the settings in NVIDIA and have it full that you know, it can run a better resolution or a bigger resolution on the screen that is provided with this one right here. But yeah, this is definitely what you are going to get by default out of it. So the resolution is going to be locked in at its maximum 1080p with 144 hertz as a cap. and with all the bells and whistles, and we have the medium presets here which are activated, and that's pretty okay. Anyway, I'm very happy with what this laptop can do for this game right here. Even though it's an older title by now, it is still very demanding for most PCs even today, and I definitely feel that I can play this game on this machine without any sort of problems. It isn't choppy. I mean, it is at times, but not very choppy. This is a very intense scene after all. There's a lot of fighting here, a lot of movement, but the game still actually feels quite okay and quite playable if I'm frank. And given the fact that it is only running a 4GB GPU in there with this i5, I think it is doing a stellar job as it is. Okay, so I've been able to load up Hogwarts Legacy, which is you know, a feat in itself, and we are just barely running 30 FPS right now, and we are set at well, we're using an NVIDIA DLSS performance here, as you can see. And as for resolution, we're definitely at the medium preset here with everything, and the overall resolution is 1080p, and it isn't doing a very good job as it is. Okay, so after much tweaking with this game, I am finally set on the settings that I am going to be using for this game and this presentation here. And in order to reach anywhere in between 30 to 50 FPS with I would say decent gameplay overall, and if you don't mind sacrificing those visual effects, because why would you want to have them with a 4GB GPU in 2023? But anyway, yeah, running this game with the settings as I've set them right here should give you a more or less enjoyable playthrough over this game. So we have the DLSS enabled. The DLSS is set to ultra performance, as you can see here. You could reduce this, yeah, upscaler sharpness. We have the reflex low latency set to off. On cap there on the frame rate, of course, we're gonna be capped by the GPU performance. And we have everything set to off, like motion blur, depth of field, chromatic aberration, film grain, and we are running everything at low presets here with the 1080p resolution being the name of the game. And definitely this is one way that you can play this game on this machine. It is going to spur off a lot of heat. You are going to hear those fans ramping up. As you can see, the CPU right now is sitting at around 80 degrees Celsius or even more, and it's ramping all the way up to 4 gigahertz. The memory usage of the GPU, it's just hovering over 3 gigabytes there. And yeah, this is what you are going to get out of this title with this hardware that's being installed. Also, you are reaching the maximum of 1700 megahertz on the GPU clock there, and that's pretty much it. I can't get it to show me the GPU usage, but definitely at this megahertz right here, we are having for sure 99% usage on that GPU. Other than this, I would say that you could definitely run titles, as you can see, Hogwarts Legacy, as you've seen, Battlefield 5. So overall, if you do want to use this budget gaming tier laptop, if you want to call it that, you can definitely do so, and I would recommend it because the price is actually quite good, and not only that, but you get upgradability with it down the line. So should you get this ASUS TUF F15 in 2023? Well, definitely the price point, it is something very nice. It is very accessible, so I see now why a lot of people have chosen to take this platform. Not only that, but given the fact that you can definitely upgrade the RAM in this machine, and also you can upgrade the SSD and even insert a new one in there, as you have an open slot for another NVMe SSD. Those are very nice features to see. The only problem you are going to realistically have with this machine is definitely that GPU. So that RTX 2050 is not that high of a step above the 1650. It is still a 4 gigabytes card, and if you were to ask my honest opinion, I would not take anything less than 8 gigabytes at least for a budget gaming tier laptop or machine in 2023, because all these titles coming out, especially if you want to do gaming on it, are going to require so much VRAM. Not only that, but you are only running 8 gigabytes of RAM in the standard configuration for this laptop right here, and it is not even dual channel, it's only single channel sticks. So you should upgrade that too, because a lot of the games not only require a lot of VRAM from the GPUs, but also require a lot of the RAM from the computer itself. But given the price point, which is just under $700 now on Amazon, I'm not sure how long that will keep up, but definitely at the present moment it is $700. And for the fact that the actual build quality of the laptop, it is quite good. The display, it is nothing fancy, but it is definitely something that you can use. The 144 hertz of refresh rate, it is something that is usable maybe for movies, or if you want to have some silky smooth impression of using the computer whenever you are looking at movies or videos on YouTube. But you're not going to reach that realistically with any sort of title running the 2050 that's in here with the 4 gigabytes. Probably if you are going to go 720p at medium settings, then definitely you could reach some sort of FPS where you can go over 144 hertz. But if you are going to stick with the 1080p, and why wouldn't you, since this is capable, you'd be happy with around 30 to 50 FPS, as you have seen in the titles that I have presented to you. The idea of presenting those titles was actually quite focused, because I wanted to focus on more demanding titles, because definitely Battlefield 5, it is quite demanding, and definitely Hogwarts Legacy, it is a demanding title. And if it can do an okay job at running those titles with the RTX 2050 that's in here, then definitely running other games right now is not going to be an issue. So guys, this has been it from me and this ASUS TUF F15 right here. And if you want to have a chance to talk to me live or have any sort of questions, we are running a Discord server. Check the links down in the box below. Also, if you have any thoughts and comments and you don't want to or fancy running Discord, then don't forget you can always hit me up at those comment section down below. I always do my best to answer each and every one of you guys. And guys, don't forget a share and a like. I know I sound like a broken record, but that definitely helps the channel a lot. And obviously a subscribe from you guys would be absolutely fantastic. Alright guys, stay awesome and see you in the next one.